First contact at the trading post. The merchant vessel Wanderer drifted slowly toward Kepler Station, its hull scarred by countless jumps through hyperspace. Captain Elena Rodriguez stood on the bridge, watching the massive trading post grow larger through the viewport. The station was a marvel of alien engineering, with spiraling docks that could accommodate ships from dozens of different species. "First time seeing the station, Captain?" asked Marcus Chen, the ship's engineer. He was polishing a vintage rifle, one of many weapons he kept in pristine condition despite never having fired it in anger. "Second time," Elena replied, adjusting her sidearm in its holster. "Last visit was 3 years ago. Place has grown since then." The Wanderer was a small operation, just 3 crew members making their living trading between human colonies and alien worlds. Elena had served in the Earth Defense Force before turning to commerce, while Marcus was a former weapons designer who found peace in maintaining firearms. Their pilot, Sarah Thompson, was barely 25, but could thread a needle with a sniper rifle at 500 meters. As they docked, Elena noticed the curious stares from alien workers. Humans were still relatively new to the galactic community, having achieved faster-than-light travel only 50 years ago. Most species had encountered humans before, but they remained a source of fascination and sometimes concern. The trio made their way through the station's corridors, each carrying at least one visible weapon. Elena wore her service pistol, Marcus had his maintenance tools and a compact rifle slung across his back, and Sarah carried a sleek marksman's rifle. To them, it was perfectly normal. To the aliens around them, it was deeply unsettling. They entered the main trading hall, a vast chamber filled with booths representing merchants from across the galaxy. The air hummed with translation devices working overtime to convert dozens of languages into comprehensible speech. Elena spotted their contact, a Zephyrian named Kextel, whose insectoid features were partially hidden behind a breathing apparatus. "Captain Rodriguez," Kextel clicked in greeting, his 4 arms gesturing welcome. "Your reputation precedes you. I have the rare earth minerals you requested." "Excellent," Elena replied, setting down a sample case. "And I have the human-manufactured goods you wanted." As they began negotiations, Elena noticed other aliens gathering at a respectful distance, their eyes fixed on the humans' weapons. Among them was Commander Thane, a massive Vorthan whose reptilian features showed obvious military training. His own species carried energy weapons, sleek devices that looked more like tools than weapons. "If I may ask," Kextel said carefully, "why do your people carry so many projectile weapons? Are you expecting trouble?" Elena smiled. This question came up frequently. "Not expecting trouble. No. We carry them for the same reason you might carry a family heirloom or a piece of art." "Art?" Commander Thane stepped forward, his scaled brow furrowed in confusion. "Weapons are tools of war, not decoration." Marcus looked up from his rifle maintenance. "With respect, Commander, that's where you're wrong. At least for humans." He held up the rifle, its wooden stock gleaming under the station's lights. "This belonged to my great-grandfather. He carried it in the African Liberation War 2 centuries ago. It's a piece of history. But why maintain it if you don't intend to use it?" Kextal asked, genuinely curious. "We do use them," Sarah interjected, her voice carrying the confidence of youth. "Just not for killing. We hunt, we compete in shooting sports, we collect them as examples of engineering and craftsmanship." Elena nodded. "Humans have a unique relationship with firearms. They represent different things to us, tools for survival, objects of beauty, links to our past. Every gun tells a story." She drew her sidearm slowly, noting how several aliens tensed. "This pistol was designed by my grandmother. She was an engineer who believed that if humans were going to make weapons, they should be reliable, accurate, and built to last generations. It's been in my family for 60 years. Your species creates weapons as family heirlooms." Commander Thane's voice carried a mixture of confusion and intrigue. "Among other things," Marcus replied, reassembling his rifle with practiced ease. We also appreciate the engineering. The precision required to create a barrel that can send a projectile exactly where you aim it. The metallurgy needed to withstand repeated explosions. The ergonomics to make it comfortable for extended use. Sarah added, and there's the skill aspect. Anyone can point an energy weapon and pull a trigger. But with projectile weapons, you need to understand ballistics, wind resistance, target movement. It takes years to master. Kextel's compound eyes reflected the lights as he processed this information. So humans collect weapons not because you are violent, but because you appreciate their complexity. Exactly, Alina said, holstering her pistol. Though we're also practical. In a galaxy where faster-than-light travel is common but energy weapons can be disrupted by electromagnetic fields, projectile weapons offer a reliable backup. Commander Thane stepped closer, his professional interest clearly piqued. "Show me." Marcus grinned and pulled out a small device. "This is an electromagnetic pulse generator, standard issue for ship security. Watch what happens to your energy weapon when I activate it near your holster." The Vorthan commander nodded permission. Marcus triggered the device, and immediately, Thane's energy weapon began flashing error messages on its display screen. The weapon was temporarily disabled. "Now," Marcus said, "watch what happens to mine." He held up his rifle and activated the EMP generator again. The rifle remained unchanged, its mechanical systems unaffected by the electromagnetic interference. "Fascinating," Thane rumbled. "Your weapons are more reliable in certain situations. That's part of why we carry them," Alina explained. "But it's not the main reason. The main reason is that we love them. We love the history, the craftsmanship, the skill they require, and the connection they give us to our ancestors who depended on them for survival." Kextel's translator struggled with human emotional concepts, but he seemed to grasp the general idea. So when humans carry weapons, it is not a threat, but an expression of cultural identity. "You could say that," Sarah replied. "Though we're also pretty good with them, if we need to be." As if summoned by her words, alarms began blaring throughout the station. Emergency lights bathed the trading hall in red, as automated announcements echoed in multiple languages. "All personnel to emergency stations. The station is under attack." Repeat, "The station is under attack." Commander Thane immediately activated his communication device, barking orders in his native language. Through the viewport, they could see ships approaching, their weapons already charging with malevolent energy. "Pirates," Kextal hissed. "The Crimson Fleet." They'd been raiding independent traders for months. Alina felt her military training kick in. "How many?" "Sensors show 12 ships," Thane reported. "Our defense grid can handle maybe half that number." The first energy blast struck the station's shields, causing the entire structure to shudder. Through the chaos, Alina heard Marcus chambering around in his rifle and Sarah checking her scope settings. "Commander," Alina said, her voice cutting through the noise, "do you need help?" Thane looked at the humans, then at their weapons, then back at their faces. In that moment, he made a decision that would change how his species viewed humanity forever. "Yes," he said simply. "We need all the help we can get." The pirate attack. The station's defense grid lit up space with energy beams, but the pirates were well prepared. Their ships danced between the automated defenses with practiced ease, returning fire that slowly wore down the station's shields. Alina could see that Kepler Station's defenders were outgunned and outmaneuvered. "Sarah, find us a good position with clear sight lines," Alina ordered. "Marcus, what do we have for ammunition?" "Full combat load for all weapons," Marcus replied, checking his equipment. "Plus the specialty rounds we picked up on New Geneva." Commander Thane led them through corridors filled with panicking civilians and overwhelmed security forces. His own energy weapon had recovered from the EMP demonstration, but Alina noticed him glancing frequently at the humans' projectile weapons. "The main defense control room is this way," Thane said, his clawed feet clicking on the metal floor. "We coordinate all station defenses from there." They entered a circular room filled with holographic displays showing the battle outside. Vorthan and Zephyrian security officers worked frantically at control stations while their commander barked orders. The situation looked desperate. "Shields at 40%, reported a young Vorthan officer. 2 more ships are breaking through the perimeter. Can we evacuate civilians?" Elena asked. "Evacuation ships are trapped in the lower docks." Thane growled. "Pirates have them pinned down with suppressing fire." Sarah moved to a viewport and raised her rifle, peering through the scope. "I can see the pirates' formation. They're using modified cargo haulers with added weapons. Not military grade, but effective against civilian targets. What are you thinking?" Elena asked, recognizing the tactical gleam in her pilot's eyes. "Those ships have weak spots," Sarah replied, adjusting her scope. "See how they've mounted the weapons on external hardpoints. Take out the weapon mounts, and you disable their firepower without destroying the ship." Marcus nodded approvingly. "Smart. But can you hit targets that small at this range?" "Give me a stable platform and clear line of sight," Sarah said with quiet confidence. "I can hit a bottle cap at 1,000 meters." Thane stared at the young human. "You would attempt to disable enemy ships with a projectile weapon." "Not just disable," Elena corrected, studying the tactical display. "If we can take out their weapons, your energy cannons can focus on their engines. Disable them instead of destroying them. And we might capture some pirates for questioning." The station shuddered again as another blast struck home. Shield strength dropped to 30%. "We need to try something," Thane decided. "What do you need?" Elena pointed to an external observation deck visible on the schematic. "Access to Deck 7, Section C. It should give us angles on most of their ships." "That section is exposed to space," a Zephyrian officer warned. "One hit from their weapons, and you'll be vaporized." Marcus grunted, adjusting his rifle strap. "Then we better not get hit." Minutes later, the 3 humans stood in an observation lounge with massive transparent aluminum windows facing the battle. The pirates had grown bolder, bringing their ships closer to the station as its defenses weakened. It was exactly what Elena had hoped for. "Range to the closest ship?" Sarah asked, settling into a shooting position. 800 meters and closing," Elena replied, using a military rangefinder. "Wind is negligible in vacuum, but you'll need to account for the station's rotation." Sarah nodded, her breathing already slowing into the rhythm experienced marksman knew by heart. "Marcus, can you spot for me?" "Already on it," the engineer replied, peering through his own scope. "Target ship has 4 weapon mounts, 2 on the dorsal hull, 2 ventral." Through the station's communication system, they could hear Commander Thane coordinating with his officers. "Stand by all weapons. The humans are attempting something unconventional." Sarah's first shot was a whisper of displaced air as the high-velocity round left her rifle. Across the void, sparks erupted from the pirate ship's forward weapon mount as precision machine metal met alien technology. The weapon went dark. "Hit," Marcus confirmed. "Forward dorsal mount is disabled." "1 down, 3 to go," Sarah murmured, working the bolt of her rifle with smooth efficiency. The pirates, apparently confused by the loss of 1 weapon, continued their attack pattern, unaware that they were being systematically disarmed by a human sniper. Sarah's second shot took out the ship's port ventral mount, followed quickly by a third shot that disabled the starboard weapons. "Impossible," came Thane's voice over the comm. "She disabled 3 weapon systems in under 30 seconds. "That's our Sarah," Elena replied proudly. "Marcus, next target." The pirates finally realized something was wrong when their lead ship lost all offensive capability. They began evasive maneuvers, but it was too late. Sarah had already moved to the second ship, her rifle barking steadily as she methodically stripped away weapon after weapon. "This is incredible," Kextel's voice crackled over the comm from the command center. "The pirate ships are losing all offensive capacity, but their hulls remain intact." Elena watched the tactical display with satisfaction. "Commander Thane, Now would be a good time to focus your energy weapons on their engines. The station's defense grid, no longer under constant bombardment, turned its full attention to the now helpless pirate ships. Energy beams lanced out with surgical precision, disabling propulsion systems and leaving the raiders drifting helplessly in space. Surrender now, or we'll let the human sniper start targeting your life support systems, Thane broadcast to the pirates. The threat was empty, but the pirates didn't know that. One by one, the pirate ships began transmitting surrender codes. In the aftermath, as station security boarded the disabled pirate vessels, Commander Thane found the 3 humans in the observation lounge. Sarah was cleaning her rifle while Marcus and Elena checked their equipment. "I owe you an apology," the Vorthan commander said solemnly. "I misunderstood the nature of your weapons and your relationship with them." Elena looked up from her inspection. "No apology necessary. How could you know? Every species has their own way of approaching technology." "But what I saw today," Thane continued, "this was not just technology. This was artistry. The precision, the skill, the way you use tools that other species consider primitive to accomplish what our advanced systems could not." Marcus smiled, reassembling his rifle. "That's the thing about projectile weapons. They're only as good as the person using them. Energy weapons can be fired by anyone, but these require training, practice, and understanding. And you maintain this skill because you love the weapons themselves," Thane said, understanding dawning in his reptilian eyes. "Exactly," Sarah replied, shouldering her rifle. "We don't just carry guns because they're useful. We carry them because they're part of who we are. Each one represents generations of human ingenuity, craftsmanship, and dedication to excellence." Kextol scuttled into the lounge, his breathing apparatus clicking with excitement. "The pirates have been interrogated. They say they avoided human ships because they heard humans were weapon fanatics who would fight to the death rather than surrender cargo." Elena laughed. "Weapon fanatics. I suppose that's one way to put it. Is it accurate?" Thane asked seriously. Elena considered the question. "We do take our weapons seriously. We maintain them carefully, train with them regularly, and treat them with respect. If that makes us fanatics, then yes, I suppose it does. And would you fight to the death to protect your cargo?" Kextol asked. "Not for cargo," Elena replied, "but for our crew, our friends, or innocent people who need protecting." "Absolutely." As they prepared to leave the station, Commander Thane approached Elena one final time. "Captain Rodriguez, I have a proposition. Kepler Station is looking to hire permanent security consultants. The pay is excellent, and you would have access to our advanced technology." Elena smiled but shook her head. "Thank you, but we're traders, not soldiers. Though if you ever need help again, you know how to reach us." "I understand," Thane replied. "But before you go, I want you to know that word of today's events will spread throughout the galaxy. Other species need to understand what I learned today." "What's that?" Marcus asked. "That humans don't love weapons because they love violence," Thane said thoughtfully. "Humans love weapons because they love excellence, and that makes them the most dangerous opponents and the most valuable allies in the galaxy." As the Wanderer undocked from Kepler Station, Elena reflected on the day's events. They had come to trade goods and ended up changing how an entire species viewed humanity. It wasn't the first time, and it wouldn't be the last. "Captain," Sarah asked from the pilot's seat, "do you think other species will ever understand our relationship with firearms?" Elena watched the stars wheel past as they entered hyperspace. "Some will, some won't. But today, we showed them that being human means more than just carrying weapons. It means being prepared, being skilled, and being willing to stand up for what's right. Even when the odds are against us," Marcus added, carefully storing his rifle in its case. "Especially when the odds are against us," Elena agreed. "That's what makes us human."